to Sarah Maderi. She's the city manager of Eugene. Jumping right in, what does your job as city manager entail, and what are some of your duties?
So the city of Eugene has a form of government called, it's a city council, city manager form of government. So we have 8 elected city councilors by ward and a mayor who's elected across the city. And the city council actually hires a professional administrator, city manager, that kind of runs the operations of the city. So they just recently hired me to do this job. I've worked for the city for almost 25 years, promoted a number of times through that. But they hired me to do that, and that essentially means that I run the city. So all of the department heads, police, fire, central services, all of those department heads report to me. And most of my job is spent working with the community and the council, understanding kind of what policy direction, what's their vision, and how do they want their city to look and feel. And then my job is to make sure that that happens.
And then what do you love and enjoy most about your profession, your job?
Yeah, thank you. I talk a lot about, especially through the pandemic, I've been really encouraging people to stay connected to their purpose. And the way I've defined that is, you tend to find your purpose at the intersection of your talent and the needs of the world. And, I started at the city 25 years ago as a part-time maintenance employee and thought it would be just a part-time job, and quickly realized that this community, and there's kind of this intersection of the people who live here who I think are just amazing, and the beauty of the place. And at that intersection, I have just found it's an incredible place to be and to work. So the people that I work with that are city employees, the community members I work with, and just the beauty of the Willamette Valley in Eugene make this job the best job you could possibly imagine.
Is there anyone who's inspired you over the years? Any big inspiration that you've had growing up or in your adulthood?
Wow. I am one of those people who is inspired by almost small acts in almost everybody. Sometimes I get inspired at the grocery store when I see somebody do something really genuinely sweet for somebody else. But I would say over the years, I definitely was inspired by some of the women in my life that were really strong, confident women that, encouraged me to do my own thing and to always just depend on myself, including my mom, who was married for many, many, many years, but always was convinced, that women just need to be able to take care of themselves and do anything you want. So that's true. I also get inspired like other people. My most recent inspiration is Alicia Keys. She's inspired me over the last however many years that she was a coach on The Voice, which is one of my secret dumb shows that I watch. Because I'm a coach and I coach people, and I love her style and her approach of how she helps people find their authentic self. And then she just wrote this book called More Myself that is just a journey into her own self-awareness and finding herself and her self-confidence. And it's super inspiring. I'm pretty easily inspired. I won't be surprised if I'm not at the end of this telling everybody how inspired I was by you.
Oh, no, I love that though, because it really is, the little things in life that, at least I think, that really kind of propel us to achieve those goals. And they may not even know that they're causing that, but
yeah.
Nice.
It's important to let people know, little ways. I'm always surprised.
If you had a piece of advice or a few pieces of advice that you could give to a young girl, what would they be?
My number one advice for girls is to try things before you think you're ready for it. And I've learned a lot over the years about why certain women are in leadership roles and why we're not in certain leadership roles. And what I've learned through all of that is the number one barrier for ourselves is that we like to believe, and I think this is a good quality, but we typically don't put ourselves out there for something until we're pretty confident we can do it, or we've already demonstrated to ourselves we can do it. And so we'll hold back on things that young men might not hold back on. They'll just say, I think I can do it, and they'll go for it. And so before you think you're ready, when you're still uncomfortable, out of your comfort zone, go for it anyway.
So changing topics a little bit, in what ways have you been dealing with quarantine, whether that's work related or just in your personal life?
Yeah. It's been interesting because I've shared with people that this is the first time I can remember in my career where we are as a city responding in an emergency operations way for the community. At the same time, we're a business that's affected, and we're having to work with our employees and how to help them through this. And then we're also individually affected, right? So we have multiple layers of this impacting all of us. So quite frankly, like I've shifted over the weeks, probably like you have, of like, at first I was so wrapped up in the how we serve the community portion of it that I didn't really spend a lot of time thinking about how it was impacting me. But I can say that, you know, most of the city is working from home even still. I'm home right now. So I spend some of my time here and I spend some of my time in my office at City Hall, and there's not very many people there. We've adapted almost all of our services to be accessible from people's computers. So we're still serving the public, but yeah, it's been hard. You know, I play tennis, and I've played tennis every week with the same group of people for years and years, and we haven't been able to do that. So we adapted by just like FaceTiming with each other every Tuesday night and just staying connected as friends. And so some of the same things. We got a puppy. We didn't know it was going to be a COVID puppy, but I got a puppy about a month before the pandemic got here. So we've had like this ridiculous fun puppy at home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, something to keep you busy for sure.
She has, for sure.
So, again, switching gears a little bit, what is your favorite baked good?
Oh my God, I totally fell into the like baking trap of COVID. I just like everyone was baking sourdough and I just had to do it. So I made sourdough English muffins, which are amazing.
That sounds good.
But they're not even really baked. They're kind of cooked on a skillet. I always thought they would be baked, but my favorite baked goods probably chocolate chip cookies. Yeah. I'm at like, as a kid, I can just remember like that was like a thing. We'd go to each other's houses and just make Toll House cookies, and I'm still a Toll House cookie freak.
Oh, they're so good. Yes, just classic. Yes. What is one challenge that you have faced, and how have you overcome it?
Wow, so many challenges.
Big question.
So many challenges. When I saw you were going to ask this question, I was like, where to begin? There's just been so many, and I mean, even just over the last 6 months, I would say, you know, I got appointed into this job as an interim in October and thought, you know, the hardest challenge I would have is like how I for the budget, how would the city council, and then we had a pandemic, and now we're having, you know, protests and demands of police reform, and let's look at, you know, all of our systems of race and inequity and all of those things overlapping together at a time where you can't really gather people together and build relationships. That I haven't overcome that challenge yet. I'm still in that challenge. Yes. Probably like, I guess the most, like on a personal note, losing my parents was a big challenge. My mom died when let's see, it would have been like almost 14 years ago of a heart attack. It was really super unexpected, and like figuring out how to be your own mom is really hard. And it's also incredibly empowering when, you know, even though it's really hard and sad and difficult, there is a point in time where you realize like you've kind of found yourself.
Again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today and go over these questions.
It was great. I enjoyed the time. Happy to join you in the group anytime on any topic. So
thank you.
Reach out anytime.